And then, yeah, as I mentioned, any questions, just drop them into the chat part. We'll pick up in a natural break. So just going to introduce you to Ryan, who's one of the customer success managers at Playwaze. He's going to be leading today's session, and I'll also give you the permissions to share your screen. So over to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Lewis. Yeah, so today I'm going to try and give you a quick tour of Playwaze, which is the site where you'll host your Time2Move holiday bookings. So between myself and the team at Cornwall, we will try and support and answer kind of any of your questions that you might have today. As you then set up your communities, your activities, etc., we'll make sure that you have all the relevant contact information if you do have any questions or queries. So the first link I'm going to share with you is hopefully the link that you'll all use to create your community. So I'll go through a community create, which is in short your business page, and then I'll go through an activity create, which you would use to set up and take bookings. And then at the end of the call, I'll go through a few other features that you might find useful. So you'll have access to the news feature, which will let you contact everyone in the community. You'll have some reporting functions if you have parents querying around bookings, etc. So I'll go through and talk about some of those features in more detail. Like Lewis said, if we have questions, if you put them in the chat, we'll potentially come to a break in between, and any questions after the demonstration, more than happy to answer. And if there's anything I can't answer, we'll take that away. So the first link is the link that you would need to follow once you've created a account on Playwaze. So I'd recommend using your business address. So if you have a business email address, one that you want to be using on the site, then you'll need to create an account. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll go through the account create first, and then I'll, on some test sites, run through some other flows. You might find for both new and returning admins that link helpful. So we do have knowledge base articles for admin. So a few of our pages have changed since your last delivery in Easter. So the site looks slightly different. So that should help you kind of navigate around. This knowledge base link is more generally to some articles that are dedicated to the program. And then if there are any questions that we can't answer today, you can always reach out to support at Playwaze, where myself or a member of the team will jump on and we'll come back to you as soon as we can. I'm just going to share my tab now. Can everyone see that all right? So the first thing that you'll need to do on the site is to create an account. So when you get to playwaze.com, if you haven't already, you'll be prompted to either log in or create an account. The account create will take some basic information, first name, last name. I'd recommend using your company email address if you have one. Any email address is fine. And then you'll be asked to set a password and confirm your password. Once you've logged in, if you then follow that link that I've shared, you'll be taken to a community create. So I'll show you in short what this will look like. As soon as you open the link, you will be taken to this page. So it's really important that you do create the community within the network. So the network for Active Cornwall is kind of the house that contains all of your provider communities. Cornwall then have set up forms that you can use. You'll have premium features unlocked, etc. So once you follow the link, you'll be asked to set up your page. So you'll give your provider name. You'll have the option to pop a logo on here. and then you'll be asked what type of club you are. So this is just some brief information gathering that we have on the site. So we ask everyone this. Then you'll be asked to put a location on. So this will be where you're mainly based. So it'll likely be somewhere in Cornwall. If you do search through this box, then you should find that Google Maps load, so you can select your location. I'm not going to complete this flow, but once you have then selected a location, you'll be asked what sort of activity you deliver. If you are delivering one sport only, then you can select the sport. I would recommend selecting activity holiday camps, which is the first one on the list. We've got that on for you, and this will kind of default your activities that you create to this type, and then when they're being hosted on the search for Cornwall, so the activity finder, they'll all show within the activity holiday camp label. You'll then give some basic information about your page, so you can put a description of who you are, what you deliver. You can use hyperlinks here, so if you've got links to helpful web pages, etc., you can paste those in there, and then wherever we show this description, users will be able to click on that and will take you to where they want to go. Everyone does need to provide a contact email address, so if you have a support email, please do pop that in. If not, you can put your own personal address here. This is important for parents when they're booking, so this is one of the fields that we do include on a booking confirmation. When a parent makes a booking, we'll have the activity information, the activity description, and we'll also have your support address here. So if a parent does have a query or a concern about a booking, they will most likely use this email address to get in touch with you. Again, you can provide your phone number, website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter addresses. So if you are going to fill these fields in, you do need to make sure that they are full addresses. So for example, you would have to put in the www. For them to redirect. The same with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So you can paste your page details there. And then you can put a banner image on your community as well. So the logos and the banner images are a really good way for your communities to stand out, so they can be specific to the marketing content that you have. And then will allow you to finish the create, and this will then finalize your entry. So you'll be asked about your entry settings. You will want to leave this open to all. So when you have members or parents joining, you wouldn't want to restrict who can join. So leave that open to all. Your sessions will be shown on the Active Cornwall finder, and then parents will be able to join and make bookings for their children. Will then show you roughly what your listing would look like. I haven't obviously chosen any images, etc., so that's why this is kind of default blank, but your image will show here. You'll see your community location and a quick summary. I'm not going to finish the create because that will create a live one. And then once you have created your community, it will look a little something like this. So once you've completed the create, you'll be given this basic dashboard. You might find some helpful articles on here. You'll see links to the knowledge base and support again. So I've shared both of those in the chat, but you will have access to that at all times. You'll be able to see roughly what your business page looks like, your community in the bottom right here, and you'll now be ready to start setting up your activities. So the activities you will need to create can be accessed from the add button here, so add activities, or if you use this admin toolbar on the left, you'll also have your ad in its own page. So activities is the feature that will be automatically unlocked for you. So as soon as you start creating an activity, you'll see that premium activity should be unlocked, and this is what you would want to start creating. So as soon as you click create, you'll be taken to this activity flow. So I'm just going to come out of this and open up a test flow for you. You'll then complete your activity create. I'll go through a few other features after that. The community create, if you have made any mistakes, you can edit that in your general settings here. So what we've recently done, if you are a returning admin, is we've redesigned the admin homepage for a community. So you'll see this toolbar on the left. Your default view will be the dashboard, and that includes all your ad options. And then you'll have a few kind of new pages that you can access. So the general settings are your community settings. So if I click that here, you can change your logo and your banner. So this will look similar to what you've just set up and create. You can change your name, your description, your contact addresses, and there'll be a few other settings that you can go through. And then once you're happy with how your community looks, we'll then go through an activity create. So bear with me just a moment while I open up a test site. Sorry, it's just loading. So you'll be ready to then go through an activity create. So the activity create, the premium one, is what you want to select. That will include your opportunity to set up tiered pricing. If you're taking payments, you'll be able to use the booking form feature, etc. So click create. It should already be unlocked for you, and you'll be asked what type of activity that you're hosting. So I would expect that all of you are running in-person activities, so this will allow you to set a location. And then you'll be asked to give your activity a name. And an activity image. So the image is quite useful for you. This is what will show on the activity finder. And you'll be asked to give the activity a type. So if you've selected in your community create activity holiday camp, it might be default selected for you, but your activity type, if you're not able to find a sport that you're hosting, you can select activity holiday camp. And then you'll be asked to give a description for your activity. This description is what will be included on the booking confirmation. Again, you can put and paste hyperlinks on this page. So if you've got certain web pages that parents might find useful or that are specific to the activity, then pop them in here. When they get a booking confirmation, this description will be included. So it's a great way of setting the expectation of what the day holds. So if you put in the first paragraph what the activity day will be like, if you've got any schedules or information for parents, this is all information that would show when they're searching for your activity. So they'll see the image, they'll be able to see a description of your camp before they book, and they'll get the description after as well. So if you've got specific information about the venue, you might put that at the bottom. If you're describing parking, etc., the description can be nearly as long as you like. So feel free to put lots of helpful information in here. And then you will have the option to link or add a video to your activity. So if you've got a short clip of your camps, your activity day, etc., if that's hosted on YouTube, then you can paste your YouTube link in here, or you can upload a short video to the activity itself using the upload video button, and then we'll show that on the searches, the activity pages, etc., when a parent is looking to book. The next page is where you'll give a little bit more information about your session. So you can say who the activity is suitable for. The age ranges are a guide, so this doesn't enforce that anyone under the age of 4 cannot book and anyone over the age of 12 cannot book. It will show as a guide that the session is aimed for children or dependents of this age range. Again, if you're running gender specific sports sessions or certain ability levels, these might not be relevant. You can just leave those. And then we do have a standard list of disabilities here that you can multi-select from. So if your sessions are suitable for any of these disabilities, if you click on those, we'll also display that for you. The first setting on this page in the participant section is an overflow list. So what this list does is it allows a session when it's fully booked to have its interest registered for. So what I mean by that is when the session's fully booked, a parent may join the overflow list. In short, that will give you a list of everyone who's interested in making a booking should any spaces become available, for example, if anyone cancels, and it gives a good indication of who would like to make a booking. So if you turn this first one on by default when you do set up your activity, that will allow people to register their interest. So if a cancellation occurs, you'll be able to reach out to them and let them know. What the system will do for you additionally is if someone does cancel and a space becomes available, is we will send a post and an email, I believe, to anyone on that overflow list, letting them know that that space is available. And that's on a first come, first served basis. So if there's 5 people on the overflow list and someone cancels, then we'll send to all 5 users a notification letting them know that a space is available, that they can come and book. That's quite helpful and is quite useful to turn on. It's a good indication of how popular your sessions have been. It also shows you a list of who would be interested in additional spaces. The next step of the create is your activity schedule. This can be quite difficult, and if you don't get the schedule quite how you'd like, we do have an activity edit that you can edit. And if your schedule is so far away that it cannot be edited, it might be worth recreating your activity and get in touch with support where we'll help you with the schedule. In short, I would assume that most of you are running repeating sessions across the holidays. So the schedule will allow you to set up a number of repeating days, i.e. Monday to Friday for 6 weeks. So I'm going to demonstrate a repeating schedule here. So you'll be asked to set the duration of your activity camp. So if your camp runs for 8 hours from the start time, then you would pop 8 hours in here. And then you'll be asked how many people in total can attend your camp. So if you're offering free and paid places, this will be the number of free and paid places that you're offering on a day. If you're only offering free places, then you would put how many spaces that you are offering. The organizer of a session can be quite helpful for your coaches or other staff members that you don't want to give admin permissions. So by creating the community, you're by default an admin. You can make other members of your community an admin, and that will give them access not only to all of your activities, they can actively manage those, is it will give them access to the reporting, the member information, your analytics as well. You might not want to give that to all team members. So what you can do per activity is you can set one activity organizer. So if the coach or staff members already joined your community, you can search for that member by name, and then a number of people will show. You'll select the organizer that you'd like, and then you'll be good to go ahead and continue the flow. What will happen once you create the activity is that user will be able to come in, mark the register. They'll be able to view the register with the information on. They'll be able to make specific edits or changes to the activity that you've made them an organizer of, but they won't have any more permissions than that. You'll then be asked to set a venue on the activity location. So this is quite important to try and get right per activity. You can create venues before you come into the activity create flow. So if you don't have any here, we'll offer you the option to find or create a venue. I'm just going to open that. And it does open a new tab. So I'm just going to share a different screen. And then we'll ask you to create a venue location. So this will be where specifically your activity is running. So you'll select the location from the list. You'll give the venue a brief name, and it'll be the venue name and the location that shows on the booking confirmation. And this is where parents would be expected to attend. And then you'll be able to give some information about the venue if you have it. So this is a multi-select list. So if you're in a certain space, you can start to give some information. You can give a description of the venue if you'd like. And again, if you've got any images of the venue, you can pop those on there. You'll then be able to finish your venue create. So for your activity bookings, it's important to get the location and the venue name correct. We do have other providers who will add more detail to the location. So opening times with additional publishing options. You won't need to go through that. So you'll be able to click finish. As soon as you do that, the venue will be created. And then when you return or close this tab, you return back to the flow, your venue will be ready to select. So I'm just going to go back. And you'll see that because I didn't create the venue flow, that I have a little error message there. But your venue will then show in this list for selection. And then you'll be able to schedule your activities. Now, all the bookings for the program open at once on a specific day, so you won't need to worry about opening or closing your bookings. As soon as you've created your activities, I'll show you how to hide them, and they'll be hidden until bookings go live. So you won't need to use the open or close bookings feature, but you will need to schedule your activities. So if you're running activities for the whole of July, for example, and they run Monday to Friday for the whole of July, you'll need to select your schedule to start on the first day that you want an activity created. And your activities will all need to start at the same time. So if they all start at 8 a.m., you'll then need to say how often they repeat. So if your activities are running Monday to Friday every week in July, you'll need to then select the last date in July, and the system will then start to create the schedule. So what this schedule would look like is it would be 5 sessions in week 1, so from the 1st to the 5th, the same until the 26th, and then it would create sessions for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday in July until your last date. The system wouldn't create any more dates further than that, so it wouldn't create dates on Thursday or Friday. If you do make a mistake with your schedule, like I said, you'll be able to check what's created when you complete the flow, and then you'll have the opportunity to edit, and I'll show you how to get that once I've completed the flow. If your schedules are slightly different, you can add a second schedule. So you would then adjust how your schedules start and finish. So if your schedule was slightly different in August, you would have the option to change the start time, for example, for your sessions in August. And you would just have to make sure that the dates, etc., are as you'd like. I'd recommend trying to schedule your activity with one schedule. Once you've created the activity, you do have the option to cancel or remove certain dates if there are any that are unwanted. So hopefully the scheduling will be okay. The next step of the flow will be a booking form. So you'll find if you're taking funded bookings only, a funded bookings form. So if it's not selected by default, you'll see it in the list and you'll be able to select funding bookings only. This has additional rules on the free school meal code. So this won't look exactly the same because I'm in a demo network, but when you're within the Active Cornwall network and community, you'll see all the Active Cornwall specific fields here. You'll see a field for the free school meal codes, and this will allow you to collect all of that information. So if you're not taking payments, then you can choose funded bookings only. If you are taking payments, you want to select no form. And then in the next page, I'll show you how to set up your discounted pricing tiers, where you can offer free places for those with a free school meal code and paid places for the rest of your sessions. So if you're funded bookings only, leave the form on or select the form. And if your payments, make sure that you have no form. If you're funded booking only, you can leave this as no, I'll just take bookings. And if you are looking to take payments, then you'll need to click yes, set a price and take payments. You will need to have your Stripe account linked. So we do have a payment partner or with Stripe, and what we'll do is we'll process bookings all through that one dashboard. So I'm just going to share another screen quickly because I haven't shown you how to set up payments. So if you are taking payments, the community homepage will look similar to this, and you should have an option within manage, I believe somewhere. Oh, sorry, it's right in front of me. You'll have the option to click payments here, and then your view will look slightly different. There'll be a big blue button that will say take payments or connect payments. And what that will do is that will ask you to then log into Stripe. We'll integrate with the Stripe dashboard, and you'll be taken through a few quick steps to get your payment dashboard set up. Once that's set up, you'll be taken back to this page, and then you can continue with your activity create. The payment flow, if you do have any issues with it, get in touch with support. We'll help you out. There will be in the payments button or the payments page here, there'll be a big button that asks you to connect, and then we'll walk you through that step by step. So once you have done that, you'll then be able to see yourself as a payment receiver, and you'll be able to set a price for your activities. So if the price you want parents to pay without a code is £20, you'll then want to set up a discount for those with a free school meal voucher code. So the discount name is the price tier that will be shown. So you would want to call it something similar to free school meal voucher code, and then you'll set the price as 0. So what you're doing in short is you're offering the ability for someone with a valid code to make a booking for free, and then you will need to make sure that you select a rule that's associated with. So within the Cornwall network, there is already a discount rule set up for you. So you'll see in the drop down that there'll be a free school meal code that you can select, and they all will be similar to this, that the code that they enter contains a certain value. So I believe that all codes in Cornwall might contain CC hashtag, for example. So we'll make that check when a parent puts the code in. As long as they have a valid code, the system will automatically calculate the price that you're eligible for. So if they do give the correct code, we'll then give you the option to complete the booking for free. If you have a limited number of free school meal places, you will put that limit in here. So if you're offering 10 paid and 10 free spaces, you can put free school meal voucher codes here, and you can say that there are 10 spaces available for the free bookings. You'll then have the option to offer add-ons. So a lot of providers will use add-ons for for lunch options. So add-ons can be free or paid, but in short, some providers will offer lunch options such as vegetarian, or vegan, for example. You might have a meat option. And what will happen when a parent books is they'll have the option per day to select an add-on as well. So some providers will put all their lunch options on here. So it might be like jacket potato, pizza, etc. Or you might have a different structure, but in short, you can offer parents the option to select a lunch option per day as well, and these add-ons will show in the register. So you do have the option to offer add-ons as well when booking, and then you'll be ready to proceed to the next page. So it's probably best that once you've set the session up, that you go to the summary and you just check that everything looks all right. You won't need QR codes, so I'm going to skip past that, and you have the option to send some reminders to parents. So you can send a booking reminder 1 or 2 days before your activity that parents have a booking. So we'll send them an email that says your activity is upcoming, make sure you're ready. This will again have some basic information about the activity, the location, etc. And then you'll have the option, if you have set a session organizer, to remind them to take the register if they haven't already. And then they're the two most important notifications. The booking prompt is anyone who has booked, for example, in the first week. If there's spaces available in the 4th week, you're able to still prompt them to potentially make a booking if they are interested. These are all automated for you, so you won't have to worry about that. You can set these numbers and then forget about those. And then you do have the option to enable availability notifications for organisers. So if you're the organiser and someone cancels, then you can receive a notification that someone has cancelled. And then you'll be asked if you'd like to promote your activity. You will only need to publish 2 Playways. What we'll do then is we'll collate all of your activities to show on the Time2Move activity finder. So publish to Playways only, and then once you've created the activity, this will be the best time to check that it's set up as you'd like. So you've completed the activity flow. The first thing you will want to do when it loads is to hide your activity. So behind the settings cog here, you will have the option to hide all your activities. So if you click that, you'll see this little notification pop up, and this will make sure that your activities can't be booked early. So as soon as you've finished to create, look behind the settings cog and you'll be able to hide your activities. If you're then needing to unhide the activity, you can click show all, and that will unhide the activity for you. So the first thing that I'd recommend doing is just checking that the activity is set up how you'd like. So the scheduling and the times are all correct. If you've got an extra date that you wasn't expecting, when the activity is unhidden, that date will be open for bookings. So what you'll want to do is potentially go and edit your schedule. So if you click edit all dates, you'll come back to a similar view whereby you can start to make schedule edits. So you'll be able to change the schedule if it doesn't look quite right. There'll be a restricted number of fields in here that we've just been through. If there is something that doesn't show in this edit that you'd like to change, it does potentially suggest that the edit is so complicated you might have to recreate your session. For the most part, anything kind of small that you need to adjust, you'll be able to do from that activity edit. If you have set an activity organizer, in short, they will have this admin function bar, and I believe they'll be able to see the settings cog. So you will have granted them permission to manage all the activity dates within this series. So yourself, any admin of the community, and the organizer for the specific date, who will be listed here, will have this admin bar. So you'll have the option to edit certain dates or all the dates behind the edit button. When a booking is made, you'll have access to the register. So you'll see the information that's collected in the form. So you have all their emergency contact details, their telephone numbers. You'll have, for example, the lunch options that you've set up as add-ons. You'll be able to see what price they've paid, etc. And this register will update every time a booking's made. If the register does have too many fields that potentially aren't relevant for you, you can hide and show certain fields. So when you're running an activity, you might not want to know the child's date of birth or phone number. You might want to have faster access to the contact name, telephone number, etc. So you can untick these boxes, save the view, and then the unticked options will come out of the list. You do have the option to export and save the register, so that can be quite handy to have on hand throughout the day, and that will include all the fields regardless of whether you've hidden any. You'll then have the option to view bookings. So when someone has booked, you'll be able to view them as booked here. You'll be able to click on them and mark them attended, and that will update the register to say that they've attended. Equally, you'll be able to cancel or remove users who have made a booking. If a parent gets in touch and they can't attend anymore, you can select them and you can remove them from your booking as well. You'll also have behind the status the interested list. So if there is anyone who's interested for that date, they'll show on this list, and then you'll be able to notify them or move them into the booked status if there is a space available. You'll then have the option to provide refunds. So when you do have someone to select, you'll be able to give them a refund for the session if they've cancelled, for example. This will only credit their account, like it says in this little notice. If you need to give a cash refund, the Stripe dashboard that you will have set up will contain all of your payment information, and you'll be able to provide refunds from there. You might be able to credit a parent who just wants to make a booking on another day, for example, and they'll be able to use the credit that you've given them to make another booking. You'll then be able to cancel a specific day. So for example, if Friday cannot run for any given reason, then you can cancel that specific day, and what that will do is that will maintain any bookings that you've got, but it will stop the session from being booked, and it will keep a record of everyone who has booked that you would have to get in touch with. Just gonna have to refresh the page quickly.
Hi Ryan, just while that uploads, we've got a couple of questions to come in.
Yeah.
One is around further information sections to the funded form. So within the forms, are we able to add in? Are you able to sort of demonstrate how to add further questions? And also linked to that is around the age ranges and limiting the age ranges.
Okay. Yeah. If you are going to add options to the booking form, for example, the funded booking form you can copy if it's been set up from Network, or you can create and use your own forms. I'd recommend, if you're using the funded booking form that you want to make specific edits to, that you use the copy function, and then you'll have a copy created for you. So this will be all the forms that have or all the fields that have been set up. The form, for example, it's quite helpful to name. So if you want to create rules, i.e. your activity for 4 to 8 year olds, it's quite helpful to name the form exactly what the rules will entail. So you'll find within the forms feature the date of birth field. So if it's not in use already, I'm pretty sure it will be. You can drag a field in. In short, the date of birth field is what you would use to set up age eligibility. So you'll be able to click add rules, and here will give you an option to set up date of birth or age rules. So you'll be asked to select what property, and you can either choose age or date of birth when you're adding rules to the date of birth field. And you can choose that age is greater than 3, which means any 4-year-old can book. 1 second. And then you would add to the rule here age again, and you would say age is less than 9. And then when you save this rule, what the system will do is when a date of birth is input, it will check that all your bookings are made from 4 to 8-year-olds. So we won't let anyone outside of that range make a booking. And then you'll be able to save the form, save the field, and then when you apply this form now, the date of birth rules will apply when a parent enters the date of birth in the form. Will check that the age is greater than 3 and less than 9. If you've got a number of age ranges, then you would want to set up a number of different forms, and you'd have to make sure that each activity is using that form. If, for example, you have a disclaimer that you would want answered, you would look to create your own property. So the property create, in short, has a number of options. A checkbox is a tick box. So most disclaimers you'll see as soon as you choose checkbox will give you the option to put a link to your privacy policy or your disclaimer form. So what you would say here is, I agree to the terms and conditions, and then you'll ask the parent or the guardian to tick the checkbox, and this is the label link that they would have to agree. So you would pop the URL of your privacy policy or terms and conditions wherever you would host those. You'd have the option to create that field, and then you'll be able to drag that into the form as well. So what you can then do is you can add a rule to say that they must agree to the field. So you can make sure that the field is mandatory to be answered, and then you can add a rule to say that the person must tick the box to proceed. So your property will be the question that you want them to agree. So I agree to the terms and conditions, and then the rule must be ticked. So the rule is that the value is ticked. And what that will then do in the form preview is it won't let you proceed unless you've ticked the form. So you'll see that the terms and conditions will become a hyperlink. So if I click on that, that will take me to whatever link your policy is. And then similarly, if I put an incorrect date of birth in and click check eligibility, it will also enforce that your date of birth must be correct to be able to make a booking. If you have any other requests, feel free to get in touch. We can help you set those up. We can always check and take a look at the forms for you. But the forms feature is quite useful to put specific fields on. If you have booking information that you want to add, you can also drag in paragraphs, headers, etc. So you might have before your terms and conditions a few lines of text that just explain what they would be agreeing to if you'd like, and as soon as you save that, that will be included in the form as well. So you do have a degree of flexibility with the form feature. All the fields of padlocks you can't remove, so they will have been set by the network at Cornwall, so they'll include most of, if not all of the mandatory fields that are required when booking. So that will have all the emergency contact information, email addresses, booking code fields, etc. So you'll be able to to use the templates and add a few of your own fields if it's needed. But for the most part, unless there's something very specific that you need someone to fill in, you should be kind of ready to go. I don't know if there's any more questions specifically on that, or if you want me to kind of jump back over to the activity feature. I will try and speed up. I can see that we're kind of running out of time. So
yeah, I think that's covered the forms questions at the moment. So yeah, carry on.
Cool. You're then able to cancel a specific date. So if you click cancel, and if you have people booked, then you can send them a targeted message. So you can select everyone who's booked for that date, and you can send them a short message, and we'll notify them of that. So if, for example, you don't want to run Monday the 1st, you can click cancel, and then that session will be taken away from the search, the finders, etc. And then it will be a cancelled status, and you'll be able to let everyone know that the session is no longer running using the message or getting in touch. And then it's probably a good idea to check the activity venue description, make sure that you're happy with how that looks. Once you start taking bookings, there'll be a few features that will be of use to yourselves as admins. So you'll have the option behind the reporting page to access the activities dashboard or the activities report. So here we have a summary of all of your activities. You'll see how many bookings you've got, spaces available. If you've got parents getting in touch about a booking, you can change the filter to report on your bookings, and you can search by name, and you'll be able to see everyone who's got a booking. You'll be able to click on the information for the user, and you'll also be able to click on the activity name as well, and it will take you to that. There'll be some basic information on here, so it will tell you if they're attending, if they've attended. It will tell you when they've booked, if they've been cancelled, for example. If you do see the status notify me, that is someone on the interested list. They don't have a booking, but we will record when they're on that list for you, so you have some form of note on that. You can then in both views pull exports, so it's probably worth pulling an export to see what sort of information is on there. If it's helpful, then you can pull as many exports as you like. You can filter your searches. You will have the most helpful activities export behind the custom reporting. So you'll see here an option for activity reporting. And what this will do in short is it will give you a list of everyone with a booking, attendance, cancellation, and anyone who's interested in this one form. So if you choose the activities report and you click export, we'll pull all the activity information for your community. You'll have a nice list then of who's booked, who's attended, and it'll have all of their member information. You'll then also have access to the analytics feature. This will be helpful after your delivery. If you do want to take a look at that, that'll be behind the manage button, and it will say manage analytics. I don't have it enabled in this community, but when you set your community up, it will be automatically enabled for you. The most helpful pages are the reporting ones for you whilst you're delivering. So take a minute to have a look at the activities and the custom exports. They do differ slightly. So if you pull the activity report and you pull a report from the activities page, you'll see some slightly different information. So it's worth taking a look at both. And then that will go alongside the register that you can also export as well per day. You'll then have access to the news feature. So you'll see within your community the ability to add your activity. So you will have already completed that. You'll also have access to send community specific news posts. So you can target everyone who's within your community. You can send them an email, and this can be a notification to let them know that bookings are now open or reopened. And it's a really good opportunity for you to engage with your members. So similar So similar to selecting logos across the site, you'll be able to select an image, give it a title. Again, you can use hyperlinks in the text body here or the description. And in short, what we'll do is we'll create a short summary that will show to all of your users. If I've got one already created, it will look a little something like this, and it will show on the user's homepage. So just for some context, every account, so parents included, yourselves, will have a Playwaze homepage, and this will include a calendar. So if I've got or made any bookings here, so for example, a parent who's made a booking, they'll be able to come to this calendar, they'll be able to see all the bookings that they've made with you, for example, and they'll also be able to see newsfeed posts. So this is an example of a post, and they'll have kind of an activity feed that's relevant. So most parents, when they log in, you can direct them if they've got a problem to their calendar. They'll be able to click on this link and it will take them to their booking with you, for example. But you will have access to that news feature, and that's a really good way of kind of engaging everyone. The news feature will be there, and you'll have kind of this specific community view, which will entail all of your posts. It will be different per person on that homepage. I think I've covered most of the features that you'd be expected to use initially. Hopefully that is helpful. I don't know if there's any more questions. I know that I have rambled on for quite a while. I don't know if there's anything specific that, Lewis, you think I've missed that I can go through.
There's just been two other questions which I haven't asked yet. Is there an option to view, export, or register for the entire series of activities we offer?
So if you're looking for everyone who's made a booking, the custom report, either specifically for bookings or for the activities generally, will include all your activities and everyone who's booked onto that activity. So this is a test community, so there's not many here, but what this would do in short is it would show everyone who's booked onto each one of these activities in the export. So if you want to kind of take a larger look or a view, the activity bookings export is the best one for you. And that will kind of list everyone and the activity that they've booked on for you.
A follow-up question: would the custom report feature also include all the form answers?
Yeah, so the member information that's collected should show. You will have access to that, and the register on each day equally will show that as well. Not all the exports show all the same information, but I believe that the booking one should have all of the fields that they've answered for your community and for the network.
That's perfect, thanks. And then we've also got a question around booking spaces on own websites. Should I make sure these are not available on my website, or is there a link to this booking page I can embed onto my booking page on my own site? So is it possible to embed the free school meals options within their own site, own website?
The system or the site does allow you to embed your activities. So behind manage embed, you will have the option to embed specifically a preview, or this is a preview, but this is what you could embed onto a website. So you'd have to use this iframe code. So you'd copy and paste this into your website, and what we would do, similar to how our Finder operates, is you would be able to pop this on your website. Someone can come along and click on the activity. I'm not sure if it will work. It doesn't quite work in the preview, but they'll be able to click here and then make a booking to the camp. So you can direct them from your website by popping these onto your site. If you do have any problems with that, I would recommend getting in touch with support, because it can be quite specific to each website. But in short, you do have an option to show and share your activity, so they'll be seen on the searches, and then additionally you can embed them here. You can also share the links to your activity. So sorry, I haven't actually gone through that, so I'll show you quickly. So within each activity you will have a specific link. So behind this add an invite button, you will have the option to share and copy the activity link. The same link is found behind this orange share button as well, and this will be a link that takes you directly to the activity. So when you open that, it will take you here, and the parent will be able to book. And then you'll also be able to add members from the Active Cornwall network. So if you have a parent getting in touch and you're looking to add them to a certain day, you can search for that member and you'll be able to add them to the session. You'll just need to keep in mind that they wouldn't have completed the booking flow. So if you do add someone to a session, I'm just going to show you this one quickly. You'll see that they've been added. If you click on their profile, you might need to come and save some emergency contact information, some booking information. So the best way to add someone to a session is to ask them to book. But if you do have to add them, then you can fill in this information for them and you can save that to their profile. And that's just worth keeping in mind, that you will need to do that if you do make a booking on behalf of someone.
Great, thanks, Ryan. I think as we are at 5 o'clock, which is when we plan to finish, so some of the key takeaways messages from ourselves is utilise that overflow and interested list. We do see on average 20% cancel or don't show to the sessions. So do use that, and obviously when people cancel, you get those people to come up to make sure that you're filling up those sessions. Secondly, obviously funded spaces only. So when you're only running just funded spaces, use the funded only booking on the booking form flow. And then obviously if you are having both funded and paid spaces, use the no form booking form, but also make sure that the discount is added. That's one of the things which consistently happens, even from people who have taken part as part of the program since we first started. Obviously, the only other thing is once you've set up your activities, if you can hide them, drop us a quick message, say you've set everything up and hidden it. We will then unhide when we go live on Monday morning, so you won't need to do anything after that. Myself, Kelly and Beth on Friday, Thursday, Friday, we're going through and make sure everything is set up correct. So even if you get it wrong, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. We can come in and edit everything to make sure that everything is set up correctly. And then, finally, just if you are unsure of anything, either contact your Time2Move lead officer, whether it's myself, Kelly or Beth, or if you're really stuck and manage to completely break the system, contact Ryan and his team on support@playwaze.com. So if there is anything else which hasn't gone through there, then please just get in touch with us over the next couple of days. But ultimately, we're looking forward to going live on Monday. It's going to be busy, I think. So if you have any questions, then please feel free to get in contact with us next week. So I hope you have a great few days, and see you soon.
Thanks, Lewis. Hi, Ryan. Is it okay to ask a quick question? I didn't want to bore everyone else.
Yeah, that's